Hey everyone, it's Nick. Today we are gonna take a look at an item elevator. I put this into the redstone section of my videos even though it has nothing to do with redstone itself, but it's very useful if you hook it up to other redstone devices, which I'm gonna get to later on. So let's check this out. We've got some fences, we've got some glass, and a few hoppers and an empty chest, and we're gonna fill this with some items that we're just gonna throw in here. So let's do that. Let's throw all of them in there. And be fast so we can see them flying up. And there you see it. It's going up into the hopper and into the chest. And that's pretty much all that it does. Yeah, it just elevates items, and it's a really cheap and easy alternative to using dropper elevators, which are also fairly easy to do, but they require a lot more redstone and don't look as good as this, because you can actually see the items going up. And how it's done is fairly simple as well. All we need is the principle of the blocks. If you, for example, have a block underground, if you, for example, dig dirt, and then you put another block on top of it, you will see that it flies out. And that's the same thing that we're using here. The items have nowhere to go other than going up, and that's why they're going all the way up into the hopper here and then into the chest. So let's build this thing, and all we need is a chest, obviously, if you want to store them up there in your elevator, or if you want to go make them go anywhere else. You could use tracks and a hopper minecart, or maybe more hopper chains and whatever you can come up with. Of course, hoppers, fences, do only use the wood fences. The cobblestone wall, whoa, can't talk. The cobblestone walls won't work. Some water, packed ice. You can also use normal ice, but the advantage with packed ice is that it won't melt if it comes into contact with torches, and also glass. I'm using blue stuff, but it doesn't really matter. And you could also use other blocks, I think, but glass has the best effect, and it's easier to show you. But I think you should also be able to do this with stone, but don't quote me on that. So the first thing that we do is dig out a pattern that looks like this and place two fences right here. So in the end, you'll have this fence connecting to all four sides and this one connecting to only the one that is next to him. And it's important to have these spaces empty, because if it's like this, it will be locked and no items could flow through it. So keep that in mind. And then you want to put down your ice, put it also underneath this fence block, and then just continue on. And it's important to have a corner right here, because if you have water here, the items are gonna flow along and they're gonna align themselves at this corner, because they get pushed against this corner right here and then flow right next to the fence. If you just threw them in like this, yeah, that one worked. But if you throw them in from here, let's say, that one worked as well. Man, in my tests it didn't work. But basically what can happen if you just throw them in directly straight, and it can end up right here in front of the fence, and that's what you don't want to happen, because then the items wouldn't go up. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is just fill it in with some glass. Here's the main center, or the main focus of the glass, and then you surround it by some more. So it just goes like this. And if you want to save up on some glass, you can also just do the pattern that I'm doing right now, or you could go a little bit more expensive, but it will look a lot better, and put some more glass. Wait, that was not intended. On the sides here, let's use another color, maybe light blue right next to the blue, and then that'll make it look even snazzier. And you can also use iron bars, so you can make it look quite cool actually, and it's gonna be looking pretty cool if you have it in the middle of your base or castle or whatever you want to build, and then have the items flowing up. That's gonna look pretty amazing. So now let's test it out. Alright, items flowing through. There we can see it. We can hardly see it, but it ended up here. Now we also need a collection system, and that's what we're gonna use the hoppers for. We're just gonna point them into a chest that is gonna be sitting right here. Let's make it double so we can store a little bit more stuff, and then point it in there. And it's important to place some more blocks around here so the items really go into the hoppers and not to the sides, because as you know, the item travels the shortest way possible, and that will be at the sides and out and not into the hoppers. So we need to extend this by one more like this, and I want to keep the pattern, so I do it like that, and then you're pretty much done. Yeah, that's all you need to do. And I said that you could hook up some redstone to this. It's recommended that you put a dropper right here next to the water stream, so you can drop items in there. Let's say you had a ton of items, like a stack of items, and you just threw it in there. It'll work, but it will clog the hopper up here, and if you threw in more than 5 stacks, it'll just stay up here and maybe despawn. And this way, if it's only clicking constantly, and then you won't have cloggedness going on, if you get what I mean. If you don't, no problem. Maybe some other people can tell you in the comments. Basically put a dropper here. You don't need to have this if you don't throw in a lot of items, but I recommend it anyway. And then just make a clock. I don't know what I'm building here. Out of a torch and a repeater, it'll work like this. Let's put it like so. That should work. Have a redstone in there, and then make it flick constantly. Then you can put another hopper into its side, which is then gonna feed into the dispenser or the dropper. But that's just some cosmetics, and you can just throw some items in there and it will just drop them out. That's as easy as it gets. Yep, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, because that helps me out tremendously. Spread the word about this really cool elevator, and then we will see us in the next one if you subscribe. Goodbye.